Hello, my friends. Hello. One of the things I do, other than playing music, trying to play the guitar, they started when I was 50, very late. Okay, it's not my first instrument. My first instrument was this. Is a very good instrument. I started when I was 14, and this is a quite good instrument. It costs hundreds of euros. It's not one of these stupid plastic recorder. This is a real 100% musical instrument. But that's another story. So I don't live to learn foreign languages. And most of you don't do that. The problem with language experts and polyglots or hyperglots that they face language learning from their point of view. That means they streamline the language learning. They have a very not natural way of learning languages because they need to show, then they can say things and understand things in that language. So they will end up quite having a stilted way of speaking that language, or to put on an accent that impress people. But well, come on, 10, 12, 15 languages, it's like you don't have the time. Do you have the time to learn so many languages just for the hell of it? Or is self-referential? You learn languages to show other people that you can learn 10 languages, and everybody is like you teach to form other teachers, but there's no receiving hand all this knowledge. Come on. So I know that it takes time to do everything. It took me like more than 5 years to sing in a decent way. Maybe it's because I haven't hold long singing lessons. Most of people don't have enough money to pay for good teachers. That's the reality. And when it comes to languages, I haven't been a teacher myself and I have my degrees in order to teach English, and I used to teach also Italian, help people with Greek. Greek is not my native language. I can help you till a certain way, and then I say, okay, I stop from this moment on, deal with Greek people because my knowledge ends here. I don't have a real 100% Greek accent. I can μπορώ να μιλώ ελληνικά φυσικά, αλλά όταν να μιλώ ελληνικά έχω μια ξένη προφορά. I say I can speak Greek, but I don't have a thick accent. Don't get me wrong. I'm speaking about a very natural accent. I basically for one reason, tell you that. I'm getting out on a limb here. I don't really like the Greek accent. So I try to have an accent, or not to have an accent, to have a Greek accent. Sorry, I said this the wrong way. But so the first thing is this: people study languages for years and fail. Do you know why they fail? Because they study language. Language is not history, it's not geography, it's not mathematics. It's one of the things we can do since we are 1.5 years old, and nothing. There's nothing. Maybe music. Some people start very early on, 2 or 3 year old. It's the only thing we can learn in a very natural way. There are theories that we are hardwired to learn languages, to have a universal language, as a theory by Chomsky. And there's another theory, there is a point when you're 12 or 13 that we will never get a second language 100% like first language. And I think that's quite true, but who cares? Okay? Who cares? Don't even imagine, oh, I can't speak English like an Englishman. No. Even English people who were born in England and lived in Italy for 5 or 10 years, they end up not being able to speak English like before. There's always an interference when you speak perfectly another language. There will be moments, okay, when you will forget words in your own language, when you have an accent. I sometimes speak Italian, I have the R, which is English, caro. Other time I feel sneaking in a way of parlare italiano e comincio a avere questa cadenza come se stessi ancora a parlare inglese. Otherwise I'm speaking English, and okay, there's no staunch, wall separation between languages. It's part of the course. It's a sign that you're really learning the other language, and then they will stabilize. They will get steady. That thing happens in certain stages of learning. There are stages when I'm learning Turkish and I'm forgetting Greek, and then my Greek comes up and coexists with Turkish. It's like being stressed. It's my theory. I'm getting out of my limb here. Our mind said, okay, in this moment I need to learn the basic of this language, and I need undivided attention to these things. This person is not using the other language. Let's put it in the back burner, and it will come back. Okay. And then when you are more steady on the other language, and you are over that first period, it can be very difficult because everything is new. You are learning the language, but you actually don't speak the language. So you come from the point, I don't need Turkish because I just don't need Turkish. I don't need Turkish because I'm not able. I'm still not able to. I'm not able yet to speak the language, and it's quite frustrating. I would say if you don't have time to learn a language, don't even start a language. If you don't have time to take care of a dog, don't get a dog. Okay, or get an animal that's more easy. I always have hamsters. I didn't have time to learn Korean. I don't have time to learn Chinese. This is quite the opposite of what I was saying in the previous video. But it's true, learn a language is easy for you and you like. So you say, okay, I'm learning a foreign language. I don't have time for German, I don't have time for Russian, I don't have time for Arabic. I happen to like Spanish. So it's not like Italian, but in a way it's easier, even if it can be tricky because there are full friends, but there are also full friends in English. But if you want to learn a language like Turkish, for example, I'm learning Turkish, that's why I'm speaking about Turkish. That's why I usually tend to, I just learned also to, there are several reasons why. You need some more time at the beginning. If you want the same, either you're very patient, you say, okay, I will speak Turkish in 2 years' time. I can start and being quite fluent in Spanish even after 6 months. So say, okay, what do I want? We all want something like an instrument I can play easily, immediately, or I play the trombone and it takes a long time to play melodies, even simple melodies, if you want to play in the right way. I get the guitar. Guitar is very, very difficult if you want to play it well. If you want to have strum away, just to strum a song and sing on it, it's not very difficult. So let's say, do I want to start something it takes years to get good results or not? That's according to your personality. If you are self-assured and you know that you can make it and you like a good challenge, learn a language. You can learn also a language that's difficult, but just not because it's difficult, because maybe you like Japanese and oh, it's so difficult. Nobody is so difficult that you cannot learn it. Remember, every language is spoken by a child that is not even 2 years old. Remember this. How difficult can a language be? Some people say, oh no, because my language is learning. I know it. Learning Turkish takes more time, but even ancient Greek sounds very difficult. But remember this. With good material, with some time and putting some effort into it, because you need also to be quite having access to right videos. Nowadays you can make it. Good thing about learning a foreign or a difficult language, it opens your mind more than a closely related language. And most likely it's a language that is spoken in some place that can be very different from yours. I'll give you an example. Most European languages are not that difficult. European, Indo-European, and most difficult languages in Europe, I say, some people say Albanian. I'm not familiar with Albanian. It can be very difficult, but say among a little bit more spoken languages is Russian is very difficult, and a little bit easier is German. I would never learn German because basically, sorry, I don't like them very much. I don't like the sound of the language. I learned Greek and I discovered that I like a lot the sound of Greek language, because it's like a little bit like Spanish, and I don't really like Spanish, but nowadays I already speak it and I don't even notice that so much. So you start learning a foreign language and you need to know that you're not hard pressed. Think about quality time. I know it's something nobody tells you, and the results are in the long run. So you need to spend time learning at something that you're not able to use it. If you're not ready for that, either you learn a very easy language or you don't learn any language at all. Or you learn language just to use on the web, so you don't need to have all the right things. If you want to use English just to check facts, but you want to learn a documentary to understand it, you need to have at least a passive knowledge of English. And the moment you have a knowledge of all sounds passively, it will not be very difficult to use them actively. Tell you that. If you've been listening to a lot, for example, I speak Greek, okay? I don't have a perfect accent when I speak Greek, but I have a Greek accent. Ξέρεις γιατί ακούω ελληνικά καθημερινά και έχω στο νου μου τη μουσικότητα της ελληνικής γλώσσας. Φυσικά το σίγμα δεν είναι ελληνικό, είναι μάλλον κυπριακό κάπως δεν έχω. Αλλά γενικά δεν μιλώ ελληνικά, λες και ακόμα μιλώ ιταλικά ή αγγλικά. When I switch to English, boom, that completely τώρα μιλώ αγγλικά ακόμα έχω την ελληνική προφορά. Δεν είμαι συνηθισμένος να αλλάζω έτσι αμέσως, να πηδώ από μια γλώσσα στην άλλη γλώσσα και αντίστροφα. Αλλά I'm going to speak English now. Enough with the Greek accent and speaking Greek. When I speak a different language, I have a completely different way of speaking. I don't speak English less like I speak Italian, because it's a different language and I'm used to having different accents. It takes time, a lot of listening, a lot of paying attention. Don't jump the gun and try immediately to speak the language. It will not. You know, a lot of people try to speak and to have chat in languages, and you can tell after 2 or 3 sentences that they're not ready to have that kind of exchange. So take your time, learn very well a good method, and that is a good method. I have other methods. I triangulate. I use this as basic method, but other things are better than other methods. But this all in all isn't the best for Turkish. I have the audio part, I have the method, I read things in a context. Now I'm satisfied with learning basic words. I have this, and it has all the. I just showed in another video. I repeated myself. I know it. Basically, I learned modern Greek, learning grammar and exercise by heart. Even though the book was badly conceived, it's a classical way of learning languages, but where's the will, there's a way. I have a lot of books about idioms. I read them, I like them, but I learned the idioms basically that I hear quite often. English is a very weird language because it has 2 standards, and actually I never embraced one form of English, just because I haven't been exposed to. I never was exposed to a specific kind of English for a long time. At the beginning it was British, then I moved for some time to America, and my English is just this. There's an influence, Italian influence. I don't know if there's a Greek influence. I know there is English influence on Greek. That's very weird. When a person who speaks 2 languages quite well learn a 3rd language, what kind of accent he has, since he has in his mind 2 completely different accents. So when I speak English, I have this kind of mid-Atlantic English with traits of American English, and traits of British English, mainly in grammar. Learning a language can be a very interesting process, like a new thing in our lives. Too bad it's so badly taught. It shouldn't even be taught. There should be people that help you, like a counselor, a language counselor. Nobody's going to learn a language through following a course. You should spend hours and hours. Nobody has enough time and enough money to do that. And even the course should be conceived in a very different way. If the language course it's like reality, but you don't have time and money to do that. So language courses should be geared towards getting the right habits and showing you the way. Or you should I'll say, okay, I've been learning Turkish for 9 months, and this, if I went there, they say you have very bad results. Anyway, what is wrong with me? Oh, I think that you haven't learned the sound, so you should do this. Okay. But trying to teach a language doesn't work. It never has, it never will. Languages are learned as Russian, and I when I read this in Turkish, I find the words in a context, and I remember the word from the context. I don't remember out of the, and then you say, but you need also to know the words out of the context in the active. Yeah, but if I repeat and read that many times, I don't need the context anymore. The little by little the language, the single word gets out of the context and gets part of myself, and I can use the word actively in other contexts of what I want to say. So I say it's as simple as that. Find the right method with the audio part. Spend a lot of time on this till you overcome the first, you're the actor of the water. When you're learning this language, you somehow, some way, somewhat communicate, and then from this moment you can mostly learn the language through being exposed to the language, since you know enough language to get the most of it from the context, and you can learn new words just basically using the language. And not only you learn new words, but you fix structures, and you little by little improve what you're saying. You say in a more natural way because you're being exposed to the language. You know that most of the times people don't use that structure. Then it's not inherently basically wrong in the other language. People can use it, but they usually use another way of turn of the phrase or way, and that you learn only by being exposed to the language on a daily basis, and for 1 hour or 2 hours. That's why I say don't learn many languages, because you don't have the time. I'm not one of those people who think that learning a language is so important. People have better fish to fry. I have a musical instrument to play. It takes time, and language learning, and there is a time that you don't. For example, Greek. I have the what is this? An exercise book. I watch things in Greek, and I write down words that either I don't understand, or I don't remember. Didn't know they have also this meaning, and I put beside the word all the meanings in Greek. Sometimes I add English, sometimes I add Italian, depends. And then if you've been doing that on a video, then you roll it back, you watch it another time with the words you already know, and you fix it. And then I learned Greek by listening to Oscar Wilde's. I did all my grammar stuff, but it was not enough to understand people when they speak. So I improved a lot through listening all this Oscar Wilde tales in Greek, modern Greek, with the recording. At the time there was nothing. It was 1985. We didn't have barely CDs, and we didn't have any internet, any digital recording or nothing. I wanted to learn it, and I learned it. Greek is a language that is not easy. It's neither easy, not difficult. Okay? I find Turkish in many ways more difficult, even though there are things that are more difficult in Greek, like declinations and verbs and things, but all in all, the memory effort is much more difficult and it's more important in Turkish, but I will make it. So my idea is most languages just learned the wrong way. You spend time on language courses that are basically, since we're not paid a lot, people who don't have a strong personality, they're not sure of themselves, people who just learn English because they're English speakers and that's the easiest thing to do here, to not to have a good living, to make ends meet. So you teach English. It's like nobody teaches English because they like it. I used to like it. I used to like helping people learn the language. That's basically, yeah, I don't teach English. I help people. Put people on the right track. That's very important. But you'll never learn a language through following courses. Basically, my idea is, and I always say that, you cannot teach a language. No, you cannot. First of all, people should be exposed to different voices, from male voices, female voices, young people voices, old people voices, every sort of voice. Everybody has their own voice, their tone, and nobody speaks exactly like that. People, for some reason, I use, for example, I'll give you an example. Nowadays in Greek, they say katarchas. For some reason, I mean, first of all, something like this. I always said protopola. I can say katarchas. Some people say katarchas more than protopola. Everybody has their peculiar, specific way of speaking. So you should be exposed to different accent, and also different accent according, not strong accent, but you know, I can understand British people, I can understand Australian people, I can fairly, if they don't speak, you know, I'm not thrown away by the different accent. Let's put it like this. I myself, as I said before, I have a very weird accent. One thing is good about my accent. Being somewhere between British English and American English, with a tinge of Italian, sure is there because I speak everyday Italian, is quite understandable. Some people have a thick local accent or a thick foreign accent and throw you off saying to you, what the hell? One thing I don't like in movies, and there was a period of this whispering acting. I remember The Sixth Sense and a lot of movies. What the fuck? Open your mouth, articulate words, and don't mumble things. Okay, goodbye.